I would like to say shalom, brothers and sisters. We're here on the Sabbath. All praises be to the Most High. Ahaya in the name of Yeshaya. My name is, of course, a lot of you may already know, Elder Rakashiar. And we have Elder Lawyer today here on your Sabbath day. Now, there are so many things I would like to cover today for the Sabbath with so many events and prophetic scenarios going on in the earth right now. Okay, it's to the point where, I mean, what do we deal with first, right? I have some news, a few clips that we're going to give out to y'all this week that we did a couple of weeks ago in prophecy, a little that came out of the academy that I believe that a few snippets we're going to give you that everyone must hear as far as some of the news pertaining to what's going on right now. But all in all, how many things we have going on right now? We have the election, right? With Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, right? We also have going into November, we're at the end of October right now. We have Halloween, okay, or what I would like to call Dead Day, right? How does all these events coincide? The same time this is going on, they're ramping up drills not just throughout the United States, throughout the world, okay? They're also focusing people on the outside of the firmament with what they call solar bursts, claiming that the electrical grid could go down if there's a solar burst, okay? Preparing people for the electric going off, knowing that they will soon turn off the grid and lead into an entirely different system that will have the majority of the population begging for the mark of the beast. So you might ask, well, why are we talking about this on the Sabbath day, right? Well, keep in mind that the Most High gave his people, I'm speaking of our people, the children of Israel, signs. He also gave us understanding of times according to Sabbaths. Okay, so we're on the Sabbath doing what? Prophesying and resolving times in preparation for the coming of our Lord and Savior. Satan know him and the politicians who are under him know that they only have a short time, and they're ramping up their program all throughout the four corners of the earth against God's people. Same time this is going on, there's an onslaught against the Bible. It's an orchestrated campaign to discredit or come against this book while evil abound. You think that's a coincidence? No. Think again. The Bible is the only book, brothers and sisters, that resolves what's going on. So how do we quantify a lot of this in preparation and getting our people prepared for what's about to happen and understanding the times? Well, the Bible says it's high time that we awake out of sleep. And hopefully this day, this Sabbath day, and the understanding that will come, this lesson that will come throughout the Sabbath, through the Sabbath today, will allow our people, will allow you to do just that. Not only become awakened, but react and deal and do something with that understanding. Now, first and foremost, years ago, we did a video from Babylon, Rome to America, showing you how the Bible shows seamlessly how all three of these culminate from one empire to the next, leading to the modern day America or the modern day Babylon, right? You also seen us through years, and you're going to see more, all praises be to the Most High, our church teaching on the street. Myself, Elder, Lawyer, Elder Zion Nash, all the elders, even the brother Nadar, who's with us in California now, you've seen us talking about what was coming here to America and the fact that soon our people would need to come out of Babylon altogether, knowing that the politicians of this earth will systematically and religiously implode Babylon so that all power can shift back to the Vatican, to Rome. When I say the Vatican, they're only the religious wing of this whole thing. There's a religious wing, there's a financial ring, and there's also a systematic platform politically. So it's all through three phases. It's not just one. A lot of people would like to just point to Rome, Rome, Rome. But it's a system more so than just a religion, okay? So how do we quantify this going into what we call Halloween? Well, first and foremost, brothers and sisters, everyone everywhere, especially those who are in the United States, must come to grip with the fact that America was never under God. Not at one point was the land we call America was under God, or our God, the God of gods, the God of the Hebrews, the God of Israel. Satan ruled America and has been the God of America since its inception. Right? So in order for us to eventually come out of her, we must first understand her and separate ourselves from her in every facet in preparation for what? A clean separation, spiritually and otherwise. Now, this system perpetuates certain religions and certain things that are fun to children, aimed towards women and children, that does what? Socially calls us and bind us to this satanic place. Right? But in order for the Most High to save us, his people must make a clean break. Right? So when we say, come out of her, my people, yes, America will soon be no more. And for those who believe she will be, I can't speak for them. But the Bible tells us that sooner or later, sooner than later, based on everything we're seeing, it's about to happen. Keep in mind, even the elite powers and the Zionists in this earth today, brothers and sisters, keep in mind that they are right out showing the people all over the earth, including the Americans, okay, the Babylonians, quote unquote. They're right out telling them that the electoral system was always a joke. Okay? No wonder why you have what you would call Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump posing together a few days ago with this Jesuit in the middle, Timothy Delane. They're in it all together. Babylon has always been evil. So we're going to go into this today. All right? We're going to see if we can culminate and bring all of this together so that our brothers and sisters out there on this Sabbath and beyond will know what time it is and prepare for what's coming. Right? Let's go to Revelations 18 real quick. Right? And when the Bible says flee Babylon, that's not a doctrine, okay? That's the Bible. The only doctrine that is the Bible's doctrine. Okay? Let me make that clear. Okay? And when we teach this, it's not in panic or to leave in haste and all that into panic and say, oh, they doing this. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, this world, even Satan's agents, can do nothing to you without permission if you're under the hedge of the Most High. The accuser of our brethren was cast down. He's leading those like Trump, Hillary, the Zionist. You understand? So Satan, like he asked for permission to touch Job. At that time, he had access and was an accuser of the brethren. He had to ask permission to come against the righteous. See? So this, when we teach this, it's not for you to fear. If you're under the law, statutes, and commandments and doing what's right under Christ, you have zero to fear. So you can't operate in haste of fear of what the government can do to you. We're not breaking these things down because we fear government. We're showing you these things so that we can prepare for the coming of our Lord and Savior and be able to prophesy beyond Babylon once it has fallen. Okay? Let's read it, Revelations.
Yes, sir. This is Revelations 18:1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Babylon the Great is fallen, it's fallen. Now, more proof that Babylon is totally fallen and can't get up. It's as if the elite powers in this, well, I wouldn't call them elite, the dirt powers of this earth, okay, are laughing in people's face with these events, what they show, these staged events, showing Hillary Clinton walking down, and cameras are strategically put in place showing her falling. A woman falling. Right? They're telling you it's all being telepath or being promoted throughout the earth and published throughout the earth what's going on. That lady that would fall. It's the same thing. A lady in red, she falls, right? It talks about the lady at the end, right? Now, I'm not saying Hillary Clinton is prophesied. Hillary Clinton is Hillary Clinton. I'm just showing you how the Zionists and others do certain things right in your face as if they're telling you what they're doing. They're imploding Babylon. Babylon has run its course, right? So they are imploding it. So they're using these actors. They're using these front people, okay? The real people you should be looking at are the people that can't get voted in, who can't get voted out, who's always there regardless of what politician is in place, like the Rockefellers, the Kissingers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the on and on and on and on, the Hiltons, on and on and on. These people are in place regardless of the puppets they place before you. Donald Trump is an actor. Hillary Clinton is an actor. Okay? So we're going here to show you that they're showing you that, listen, this place is finished. Okay? They're not even putting a person before you that can show any similitude of hope. Right? Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen, read.
And it's become the habitation of devils.
And it's become the habitations of devils. So what is the Bible relating to us today, right? What is the Most High showing John the Revelator when it says become the habitation of devils? Well, it's showing you that this place that the Bible is prophesying about will be systematically set up to do devil worship, demonology, evil, wickedness. That Satan, this would be Satan's new Babylon. See? This place would be ran by devils and demons and evil. Right? Go on.
And the hold of every foul spirit.
Every foul spirit. That means everything that's wrong. Right? Blurred lines you would have. No moral compass. Everything the Bible says to do which is moral, it would teach the reverse. It would totally skew gender lines, totally skew any level of any any understanding of piety. Make it where you don't know which way you're going. Totally confused. Right? Babel. What happened at the Tower of Babel? The tongues was confounded. Confusion. Right? This is what Babylon was set up about. Was set up on from the beginning. A matter of fact, the so-called first president of the United States, George Washington, was a Satanic Mason. And they have a statue with him in Roman garb in the same pose of the Satanic Baphomet. Okay? They have been putting this in your face all along. It's just been before you all along. They use these systematic Babylonian churches. I'm going to talk about it in a moment. These systematic Babylonian religious institutions in America to teach us an alternative reality, okay, that would actually tolerate and bring some level of understanding to an evil world. It was the religious teachings that had us tolerate this place as God's place, as God's country. See? Anyone in their right mind outside of religion, if you read the Bible, you can clearly see that America is the virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay? But if the churches have been infiltrated by Jesuits, by Romans, the same people who destroyed our people, who destroyed God's people in 70 AD, Zionists and Jews, which are Jewish people, which are Romans. See, if they're controlling your education, your churches, they'll make you believe good is evil and evil is good. And at the whole time while you're in these churches, systematically destroying your children, making them believe that the Bible is just another book. The only book that can resolve the place we're living in and the imposition against us. Right? So when the Most High says, Babylon the Great is fallen, yes, we all see it fall. It's fallen, right? But he wouldn't show us this or give John this without an answer, brothers and sisters, right? Babylon the Great is fallen, and now it's being controlled by demons, devils, Satanists. Like your lady in red here. We all know she's a eugenicist. She's a Satanist. She championed Margaret Sanger, which was a eugenicist, who had a plan to make it really, to make it a power move for women to think it's okay to destroy and kill their own children. All right? You strong and you have courage if you can kill your baby, right? This systematic psychosis that was taught by Margaret Sanger has killed, what, over how many? Over 500,000 black babies. Who was behind this? Who championed this? Who celebrated that eugenicist who said we need to kill these black weeds? Hillary Clinton. Okay? She's a top sorceress, a witch. Okay? These are your choices, even though you never really had a choice. Okay? That whole thing in the 60s, when they moved the civil rights movement from equality or right justice to being able to vote. The Zionists controlled that whole thing to make you believe that that's what we wanted. We never wanted to vote. We wanted to be able to protect ourselves and have our own without an outside influence destroying us internally. That's what we desire. They moved the pendulum into a system that they were controlling already. See? Do you want to vote in Babylon? Do you want to become Babylonian? See? Let me give you the right to become even more evil and wicked and confused. See? So voting, you never had a choice. No sooner as they gave you the right to vote, what did they do? Well, they brought in the electoral, what? It's called an electoral college. Mm-hmm. So that now the popular vote will never win. And then if you find a way to get around that barrier, that evil thing they've put before you so that the votes, they can still control the vote, then they'll tell you, well, we got super delegates. Who are they? You never had a choice. Okay? You never had a choice. We were brought to America as a curse. Okay? That's the whole deal. We were meant to be servants until we're freed, according to prophecy. Okay? Now we're at the end of the times. The Gentiles will rule, and their demons and their gods will rule over us. We're at the end of that now. Now the alternative is what the Most High is showing us here in Revelations, to come back, follow his laws, statutes, commandments, become righteous in an unrighteous world, deny everything this system is pushing on us, deny it all. Right? Come on, other lawyer.
Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Is fallen, it's fallen.
It has become the habitation of devils.
And it's become an habitation of devils. There's demons ruling America and the Western world. Now, when we talk about Babylon, we're talking about a system in place. All right? Even the atheists are religious. See? The only reason they became atheists is so that they can be the fundamental foundation to attack the Bible. See, that was their whole deal. But even they are under a religious Babylonian understanding, because they're behind the banking systems, which is Babylonian. They're behind the systematic rule of Rome, colonizing other countries. The patriotic way of the Western world, that's all a religion, brothers and sisters. So the atheist is just a faction that was carved out by Zionists to attack people who believe the Bible. That's all it was. Okay? You rarely hear atheists speaking against any other religions that believe in God. Their sole focus is for those who are upholding the book, who can resolve everything. Us, the children of Israel. Okay? Come on, let's go.
In the hold of every foul spirit, in a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Read on.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
All nations have participated in the evil of Babylon, which was a Masonic build from its inception, which was under Satan's authority from the beginning. Okay? Read.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
And all nations have become rich, buying into the satanic system, the new Babylon. Read the 4th verse.
Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people.
Saying what?
Come out of her, my people.
Right before the Most High destroyed any empire, he warned the righteous. Okay? We can go on and on and on. We can go back to the time of Christ, before the message came to John the Revelator. And Christ was letting us know, as the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Then he talked about Lot. Don't be caught out there like Lot's wife. They were giving us understandings how to resolve Babylon in our time. Don't be like Lot's wife. She looked back. Her heart was still joined to Satan. One moment. One moment. Okay. Okay, let's go again here. Go to Revelations 18 and 4 again.
Revelations chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, what?
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people. See? Same as I've mentioned a little earlier here. Okay? Christ gave us those same warnings. He was telling the disciples that eventually the Romans are going to come against us. The Romans will come against us. He kept telling us, okay, that they will compass us around and eventually destroy us. And that happened in 70 AD. And he told the people, listen, don't be like Lot's wife. Don't be like Lot's wife and turn around and desire that evil place. So when people claim that fleeing Babylon is a doctrine, it's unlearned. Okay, because the Bible tells us that there will be a great destruction in Babylon that's coming. Okay, there will be. Every empire suffered a serious destruction. Okay, look at what happened in Egypt, the plagues that enslaved God's people. What place have done more evil to us than the Western world, than Babylon? Okay, so if he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with their sodomitish ways, okay, and he destroyed Egypt, what do you think he's going to do to the Western world? What do you think he's going to do to America? So this is a warning also to the nations. He's telling his people, the people he loved, the people that are following his commandments, hey, come out of her. Separate yourself from her. I'm about to destroy her. Okay, that's what the Most High is saying. Read.
Verse 5, or Salaki, the rest of verse 4. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
That ye be not partakers of her sins. And I want to show you something real quick, brothers and sisters. To show you that Babylon extends from Rome, right? A few years ago, we showed this a few years ago, showing you the ancient Tower of Babel on your left, unbuilt, and the new parliament of the EU on your right, showing you what I would call a modern construct of the fallen or the unfinished Babylonian tower. See? So they picked up from where ancient Babylon left off. Can you see this? To build a hub, a system, a world system, a one world order that would exalt the God who gave them their power. Okay? Satan is the God of the EU, of America, has always been, over the religions, whether it be the Seventh-day Adventist Church, whether it be the Jehovah's Witness Church, whether it be the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, whether it be the Baptist Church, the Pentecostal churches, whether it be your modern-day non-denomination churches, they all have some piece of the Babylonian teachings in their religions. Even those that reject Rome, like the Seventh-day Adventists. Okay? These are all evil and wicked harlot houses, according to the book of Revelations. They stem from the mother of harlots. The mother is Rome. Rome wasn't just in Italy. It wasn't just a little city. Okay? It's an idea that spreads through conquest and absorbs the rest of the world. That was the whole point of Rome from its inception. Okay? Now, we just covered that in the last 2 lessons in the academy. But now we understand that Rome, the fourth beast, absorbed all the power religions of ancient Babylon, ancient Egypt, and all that. And it became all of them wrapped into one. America is the country, the daughter of Babylon, or the extension of when Rome's deadly wound was healed. America embodied all of them and became a superpower in a shorter time, in a short space. Okay? So now they have accomplished their agendas in bringing the whole world under the fear of Rome's rule. They have now set bases, military bases, all throughout the 4 corners of the earth. They have systematically, through their religious financial system, sucked all the resources and indebted every country on earth. Okay? They no longer need Babylon now. They have done it. They've used Babylon and tricked us in churches into joining their militaries, into thinking we were defending God's land. They used us. And we went throughout all of the world fighting these satanic battles that would one day turn around towards us, where we are now. The same black people who have fought in all their wars for them and have did their conquest are now labeled terrorists. Okay? Wake up, brothers and sisters. This is why the Most High is saying, listen, you better wake up and come out of it. You better separate yourself. You better follow me. Where one must ask permission to touch you. Okay? You must get under the hedge, brothers and sisters. That's what this is really about. Okay? Come on.
Revelations 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying,
come on.
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people.
That ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Because if you don't come out of her, you're going to receive the plagues of her. All of it. Let's go through the plagues for people who believe that coming out of her is spiritual. All right. And guess what? There is a spiritual coming out of her first. Okay. We're not minimizing that. You must separate yourself first spiritually from her if you're living amongst her. But that's the first phase. That spiritual disconnect is preparing you to do what? To do what? To have that relationship severed altogether. Right? I'd like to give an example like a relationship. Okay? You may be living in the same house, but when 2 people are done with each other, they tend to separate and not deal with each other and deal with the inconvenience until they can be apart. Right? That's what you see in this world. You see people who check out amongst each other, and through whatever finances, issues, whatever, they bear each other. But really, their heart been going a long time from the relationship. So that's the example we can give for those who really can't afford to go places or don't have a direction right now. Keep in mind, none of Christ is lost. So your circumstance right now will not dictate how this thing will play out for any of us. Okay? The best thing we can do is to come out of us spiritually if we don't have the means to do so and not participate with her. So that now the Most High's protection covers his people, cover the righteous. And through that cover, the angels will show you a way. Then the ideas will come. You will link into the church. You'll start doing things where two or more are gathered, and a way will be made that didn't come to mind before. See? Right? Where you at, Elder Lawyer?
Revelations 18 and 8.
Come on.
With the plagues.
Here's the plagues. Now, if you don't come out of it, eventually you'll suffer the plagues according to Revelations, right? Come on.
Revelations 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Death.
Death.
In mourning.
And mourning.
And famine.
Famine.
And she shall be utterly burnt with fire.
According to the Bible, that's the future of the daughter of Babylon. Eventually, she will go down by fire. And that's what's about to go down. Now, we probably have a few years before it actually happens. But no society, no empire in history, okay, ever in history, were able to avoid its prophecy. No empire, okay? When our people were under the Babylonian and Assyrian Empire, they had a time. They only had a certain time before it would go to the next empire or the next empire, up until the time in which the Most High would look to free and awaken his people, the time we have now. And no prior empire was able to escape the prophecies concerning their fall and the power going from one nation to the next nation that was prophesied in the book of Daniel. No empire have escaped their prophecy. So what makes you think America will? This is what's coming to America according to the Bible. Okay? And we talk about Babylon. Because this embodies everything we're dealing with coming into the so-called elections. That's coming into how before the elections, they worship the dead and all that. It's all one system. It's all one religion. There's no separation between the churches that are celebrating Halloween and the political systems and what they plan on certain days and the participation of Halloween and all that with our children and families. It's all one religious action under Satan. But in order to understand that, we have to go back to ancient Babylon. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through a few references, okay? All right? Now, what we'll do is make sure some of these references, once uploaded, will be there where you can actually go into some of these sources yourself, okay? But what we have here is the pagan book of days, okay? Now, brothers and sisters, this book here, the pagan book of days, is proof that all the holy days you're following today are being masked by our modern day politicians and by our modern day controllers to make you believe it's a day that you can relate to in history or in American history and all that. It's a lie, okay? It's a lie. These days were worshipped in ancient Rome, and before ancient Rome, they were worshipped. I'm speaking of all the holy days. They were worshipped in ancient Babylon, ancient Egypt. Okay? Now, here's the piece. I wanted to mention this real quick while it's in mind. A lot of those in the so-called conscious community come against the Bible because they claim, well, there's a lot of similarities in some of these stories of ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet and all that. See, they are misguided. Why? Because they believe that the Romans' religion of Christianity is being taught from the Bible. So when they see those religious similarities of Babylon and Egypt, they relate it to the Bible. When Christ's stories and the stories in the Bible have nothing to do with those similarities. These are lies and doctrines that were taught by the Romans. And through that idea, through their misunderstandings, they don't view the Bible in its proper context. Okay? Egypt, believe it or not, ancient Egypt and everything ancient Egypt has and what they were came from Babylon. Okay? The Tower of Babel. Okay? So we're going to go and we're going to bring you take you to the past, back to the past, and we're going to bring you up to date on where we are today, right? Can you see that, lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is from Revelations Illustrated. You have the two Babylons? Here's some of the references we're going to use real quick. The two Babylons. The pagan days, the pagan book of days, right? And we're going to give you some more references we're going to read here. Another reference. These are old references. Early 20th century. Some even before then. Where among the scholars in universities, there were records and references that proved back then that this is a satanic Babylonian system. Okay? Even when we look at the political, the political construct, like Democrats, Republicans, the senators, it's all a religion, brothers and sisters. So there's no separation between church and state. They just tell you that because that's another way they can divide the population. Okay? Divide and conquer, right? Now, we're going to read a few quotes. Here's a quote, elder lawyer, right here.
Much better.
Right? That's better?
Yes, sir.
And this is from Revelations Illustrated, Made Plain, page 224. Read that.
It says, in ancient days, Satan seemed to make Babylon the capital of his evil operation.
In ancient days, Satan seemed to make Babylon the capital of its evil operation. Go on.
From this headquarters was started false religion.
And from those headquarters, which means that foundation, that headquarters they made in ancient Babylon under Nimrod and Satan, that became the headquarters of false religion. Now, at that time, there was one speech, one tongue, and all the nations were working together under one program to get Satan back out beyond the firmament. Okay? Now, our people, our forefathers, which is the line of Noah, Shem, okay, Abraham, from Eber and Peleg, okay, this was the line that would keep things pure against the false gods, against the false religions. Okay? Now, finish reading, elder lawyer.
Moving on, it says here.
Now, this is where we're going. We're going into this book here. The two Babylons, which Jesuits and Jewish people will claim it's not credible. And just because they claim something is not credible doesn't make it not credible. They're not credible, okay? Here it is. The two Babylons. Read this quote here where it says, in the two Babylons, right? Read it.
It says, the Tower of Babel was actually the worship of Satan in the form of fire.
Worship of Satan in the form of fire. Read.
The sun.
The sun.
And the serpent.
And the serpent. All right? So, ancient Babylon began the worship of Sunday. See? Sunday was a worship of Satan. Okay? And they worshiped him as what? As a form of fire, because the cherubims, or the angels in heaven were what? Or they are what? Amongst the stones of fire, made out of what we call in this earth pure hydrogen, fire. So when he was hurled to the earth like a meteor, it was like a streaming fire coming to the earth. Okay? It wasn't a rock from another planet. It was Satan and the angels that was hurled to this earth. And so they worship that. They worship that fire. They worship what they would call his light, him being illuminated as an angel with technology and understanding beyond our realm. He could teach this earth the pure, what? Good and evil science beyond our realm of education. So through this, he was a god to be worshipped in ancient Babylon, right? Read on.
It says, however, Satan worship could not be done openly because of the many who still believed in the true God of Noah.
See that? So secretly, those in high position during the time of the building of Babel, secretly, they knew, those in high regard knew that this was a construct and a religion that was tilted towards or aimed towards worshiping Satan. But they had to do this in secret from amongst the regular builders, because the regular builders believed all along that they were worshiping the God of Noah. They knew there was only one true God. So they were tricked into believing that this tower was God's tower. The same way a lot of churches and institutions today, we believe because there's good people who we deem or think that are good people, but they're only tricking us through psychology with how they interact. But they're really evil and wicked people with a demented agenda against the world. These are your elites who they'll smile with you, hug a child, have a commercial with violins behind it, but really they're Luciferians. They're Babylonian Luciferian agents. See? Here's the trickery. In order for us to come out of Babylon, we must first understand what Babylon is and Satan's agent, so that our heart is not endeared towards or merge with any of this, right? It says right here, the Tower of Babel was actually the worship of Satan in the form of fire, right? However, Satan worship cannot be done openly because of the many who still believe in the true God of Noah. Come on, Elder Lawyer.
So a mystery religion began at Babel where Satan could be worshipped in secret.
So the mystery religion is Babylon, see? And it's no different than the mystery religion of Masonry today. Okay? The mystery religion goes right back to the Tower of Babel, brothers and sisters. It's having those of influence in control of the population. See? Totally deceiving those that are under them in secret worships of Satan. That's why eventually we see Revelations 18. The Most High is saying, listen, come out of them, my people. I'm going to take it down. The only way to break the delusion once and for all is to totally, utterly destroy the dream. Destroy the illusion so that those that haven't woke up can wake up. See? Now, that reference also came from the Larux brothers, 1959, where they talk about Neptune, which is a fallen god, right? It's a book called Neptune, right? Read what it says here.
It says, the researches of modern writers.
The research of modern writers said what?
Uniformly regard Babylon as the cradle of ancient paganism.
So those that worship the fallen gods admit in their records that what? They deem Babylon the what? The cradle of ancient paganism. Okay? Polytheism, which is the worship of many gods. Why? Because Satan didn't fall by himself. 1/3 of the angels ruled under him within the firmament, within this construct. So all of these gods were worshipped in ancient civilizations, okay, beginning on this side of the flood with Babylon, right? Read what it says here, right? And this book, okay, one moment. Make sure I have it here. Here's another book called Nimrod and False Religion, and it's adopted by the Bible Story, Volume 1, by Basil Wolverton. And this is published by the Ambassador College Press. Read this here.
It says, there in ancient Babylon were born the false beliefs that have wormed their way into almost every religion.
Come on.
Even today, millions and millions of people who may want to live according to the right ways are not aware that the manner of worship follows very closely that of ancient idol worship and pagan rites begun at Babylon.
So even those who want to do right are not aware that what they do right is still wicked and evil. They were taught that Sunday worship was good. It's evil. See? Sunday worship was in pure defiance of against the God of the Bible, who said, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Right? And I see so many people, when you talk about the Sabbath to them, they were, well, that's for the Jews. Well, wasn't Christ from the tribe of Judah? If that's for the Jews and Christ was a Jew, then why are you worshiping Sunday then? Right? Come on.
People today calling themselves Christians keep the Babylonian festivals.
What Babylonian festivals they keep? Come on.
Of the solstice at Christmas and Easter, which is the festival of Ishtar.
Now, this is in their records, their books, their universities. They know that Christians keep the Babylonian festivals of the solstice at Christmas, Easter, which is the festival of Ishtar, the ancient fertility goddess of Babylon. Right? Right? Now, let's get a few more. Right? This is from the Salk Brothers Neptune. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go here. Two Babylons, Alexander the Hislop, page 99. Read it.
It says, Babylon was, at that time, the center of the civilized world.
Same thing it said in the other record. Read.
And thus paganism had opportunities of sending forth its debased counterfeit of the truth to all the ends of the earth.
So they would have a fake religion from Babylon after the splitting of the tongues that will be spread throughout the four corners of the earth. So what happens if God's people, the children of Israel, who didn't follow these things, fall through a curse? Eventually, these people would be spread throughout the four corners of the earth and do what? You got it. Be spread and get deceived by these Gentile Babylonian religions. And they would begin to believe, our people would begin to believe this was always the truth. Not relating our condition following other nations' religions, not relating that action to a curse. Okay? Not relating that. How can you get back to God after captivity following the nations who have enslaved you? Right? So we must go back to what it was before we fell. We must come back to the laws, right? Follow the Sabbath, right? Follow his commandments, right? Now, why did I go into this? Well, last week we went into, in the academy, first we went into who is Edom, showing Edom 2 weeks ago, linked with the gods or the god Seir, right? And that god Seir, when it show you in record, we show it in the academy, that god Seir is Yahweh, right? Well, when you look at the empires in Daniel's, brothers and sisters, right? All the way down, the Babylonian, Assyria, Persian, Medo, Greek, Roman Empire. Well, that same God was worshipped all the way up until the Romans ruled, okay? And they culminated the same ideologies and merged it with their new religion, which is what you would call the universal religion of the church, the Roman Catholic Church. It was just Babylonian, but had a little bit of all the nuances of all the beasts or all the nations that ruled us. okay, had all the nuances of all these empires so that they could rule us up until the time of Christ, which is Edom, Edomites, okay, Romans, right? Now, when you look at this, when they found us, or when they bartered it for us and enslaved us and sold us, like it says in Deuteronomy 28, to different places to build their new Egypt, to build their new Babylon, to build their new tower, right? When they did this, they knew that we were religious Hebrews. They knew that it was in our culture. They knew it was in our nature to follow the God of the Hebrews. So no way they could separate that from us. We're spiritually drawn to this book, the Bible, and the Hebrew Scrolls, and to the belief of a God, the one true God. They couldn't take that away from us. So what they did was they allowed us to continue in the book as long as they could be the authority and control the narrative, the narrative and the doctrine of how we view the book, right? So here it is. So in the church, they would teach us Sunday worship and the Babylonian rule and the Babylonian evil of ancient Babylon. Outside of the church, okay, they would teach us certain religious holy days and certain religious practices that would have us not only deal with the worships on Sunday, but the social actions of Romans, which were evil, would be our way of life going forward. Okay, let me show you. What's today's date?
The 28th.
Today's the 28th, right? Right? Let's get this book real quick. Right? And I need you to get, we going into Halloween, right?
Yes, sir.
Get it out of here real quick. October 31st. Right? October 31st. You got it?
Yes, sir. This is page 121 of the Pagan Book of Days.
Come on.
It says the 31st of October, known as Samhain Eve.
Known as what?
Samhain Eve.
Samhain Eve. Right?
Halloween.
Halloween.
Goddess month of Samhain commences. It goes on to state the Feast of Samhain marks the onset of a darker, more introspective time of year, when access to the other world is easier than usual.
When the access to the other world is easier than usual. It's speaking of the satanic, demonic world. Gates opening for demons. Right? But these demons can only get hosts through what? Participation. Mm-hmm. This is a time of witches, druids, sorcerers, right? Right? They promote this, right? Throughout South America. Look at this. Look at this. Our people in South America worshiping the dead, right? Why are they doing it today? Well, they were taken over by the same Romans. Here it is. This is in East India. They're in a cemetery worshiping the dead, right? A day after Halloween. We're going to go there. Right? Look at this. No one is tying this all together. Well, this was done in ancient Rome. Now, and here's the sick part about this, brothers and sisters. The majority of the people you see dealing with this are actually Christians. These people grew up in a Christian church. Right? Who went over to South America to set up the Roman Catholic Church? The Romans did. So these practices are from ancient Rome. They have nothing to do. They have nothing to do with us, with God's people. Right? And even before they did this in Rome, guess where they got this from before then? The worshiping of the dead and all that. Babylon. From one empire to the next, these evil paganistic worships are promoted. Right? Read on.
It says the festival is also known as Halloween.
It's known as what?
Halloween.
It's known as Halloween. Come on.
When witches ride abroad.
When witches rides abroad. And when you look at the image of Samhain, the idol is the horn god. The horn god with what? A serpent. The horn god right there, holding a serpent, right? And I know the politicians and others would like to promote this as just a day of fun, just an innocent day. No. It's religious, what you would call, it keeps us in this religious prison under Babylon. You have our families participating in this evil. So how can we come out of it and receive anything the Most High has promised if we continue to practice and be under the curse, right? Now, come on. Let's get November 1st now. Now we're going into the time of the elections. See, these are all preparations to do what? To initiate a religious ceremony to the gods. That's why they have the elections for the president and all that during that same period. It's one of the highest times of demonic and satanic activity on earth. Same time they're doing the elections. All of this is going on. Now, what they're not telling you is how many children, innocent children, who are taken from their parents and all that, and are sacrificed during this whole period. And see, this is how they get the so-called pleb or the modern day citizen who have no idea what's going on. They get you to participate in ignorance by thinking it's just a political event to vote your next leader. So, but nonetheless, you are participating in it. Even, listen, ignorance is not an excuse. You're still participating in all what they're dealing with. So they get you to, they get you to deal in it through ignorance, to empower these demons and evil people to operate and to do what they're doing against our people. You're still complicit because you're telling people publicly you agree with a system that have enslaved and destroyed our people, that is behind the killing and destruction and wars and the evil on earth. You're saying that you agree with it if you vote for it. And you will be inundated, all of us, you'll be inundated the next few days with all this information concerning this story of the emails and this with Trump and all that. It's just so they can engage you in their evil during a time in which evil abounds. Okay? Come on.
This is November 1st, page 124 of the Pagan Book of Days. It says 1st of November, Cross Quarter Day, Samhain, Festival of the Dead.
Festival of the Dead. Now check this out. The Catholic Church has Mass during that time, right? They have Mass during that time. Mass is lighting candles to the dead. And guess what? They call it Saints' Day in the Roman Catholic Church. Well, we know it's not Saints' Day. That's what they're using to cover the gods that they're worshiping and lighting candles to. The doors they're opening so that the demons can come and operate amongst what? The politicians, the senators, those in high regard and high power. Where do you think they get their understanding and knowledge from on how to rule and what to do? Okay, but they cannot get none of this information without blood sacrifice. So this is what you are participating in, brothers and sisters. It's all a religion. If you don't believe me, look here. Okay? These are three of the greatest immoral people that have ever lived on earth. Right here. Evil and wicked Satanists, rapists, you name it. This is what you're looking at here. Child molesters, child killers. Right? It's a religion, all of it. To have an idea or to share an idea with one of these evil people or to agree with any of this. I mean, think about it. Look how many people died during the Clinton administration. The whole crack cocaine game and all that was being ran by them, by the Clintons. Okay? Look at Donald Trump. These are Zionists. They're Satanists. Okay? They're in it together. It doesn't matter who you choose. None of them will go anywhere. They're all doing their part in the satanic construct. This is all a game. They just need you included. And they need you to participate with the evil of Babylon. So I'm showing you how this works. So if we're going to come out of it, we have to call a spade a spade. We have to go straight to it and say, this is what we're separating ourselves from. The political system. We're separating ourselves from the religious system. We're separating ourselves and making sure our children don't participate or don't desire or envy the wicked when they see other children running into haunted houses and doing all types of evil and wicked things, promoting Ouija boards and all that. We're going to lose our children. When you take your children out there and have them participate, they're going to find something evil. And that day, something may enter which will never leave. Okay? That's how it works. Okay? Come on.
It says, the third station of the year, awakening, is a time of letting go. When the seeds fall to earth, Samhain is the beginning of winter in the natural year.
It's the beginning of winter in the natural year. Come on.
All Saints' Day is the first day of the 2-day Christian commemoration of the dead elevated to sainthood.
The dead elevated to sainthood. Did you know that this had anything to do with God in Christ? Well, it don't. And when you ask a Catholic, well, can you explain to me how the dead is worshipped in Christianity? Can you explain to me, can you show me that scripture out of the Bible, please? And they'll look at you and be like, well, it's more tradition to worship. Yeah, it's a Roman tradition. And before that, a Babylonian tradition to worship the dead. Okay, to light candles to them. And not just any dead people that they are worshiping, brothers and sisters. These are renowned Nephilim children, okay, that were revered throughout ancient history. So this is not just no regular people, dead people they're worshiping. These are the gods and the children of gods which were worshipped in ancient Babylon. Okay? Come on.
As a continuation of Samhain, the eve of All Souls' Day begins at sunset when it is customary to light the bonfires known as Tinley fires.
Now, the bonfires are also used for what? Sacrifice. If you don't believe that, there's movies called The Wicked Man. One Wicked Man, there was an old movie called The Wicked Man, and they updated that movie with what? Nicolas Cage, the actor Nicolas Cage, where they have these little areas of witches and warlocks and sorcerers, all communities. You may think these nice communities are nice communities. They're not at all. They're satanic, pagan hubs for sacrifice and all that. Okay? So these bonfires are not just a fire, it's to sacrifice to their God, the God of fire. The God of fire requires a blood sacrifice in the fire. That's from Moloch, the worship of Moloch. See? And the Bible tells us that we must keep our children from all of this. And it's hard to keep the children from this. Why? Because the adults in this world are taught to and operate operated with, we operate as if we're children when you think about it. It's not just the children that are the problem. It's the adults who are perpetuating the satanic system from generation to generation. We're going to get there in the Bible in one moment, but let me get this information out. Read.
It says the theme of this week is memory of the dead.
Hold up. The theme of this week, speaking of the first week of November, starting with October, a gate is open where there's a worship of demons. Catholics all over the world. You go into South America, they got people marching down the street with dead people and all that, right? You'll have it all down south and all that, people worshiping and not realizing they're opening channels for demons. See, that's what this is about. They are empowering the fire god, Satan, their Lord, that's being taught in these churches and all that. Unbeknownst to the preacher. The preacher is just a pawn, a puppet, a pagan puppet that's being utilized by the system, the majority of them. And I'm not speaking of all pastors. I see a lot of pastors out there who are standing up against this evil. Mm-hmm. Okay? But a lot of them are just ignorant as they can be and don't want to know the truth. They'll open up their church and say, well, let's do Halloween in the church. At least we're going to do this for Jesus. And the children are safe. The children are not safe in your church, buddy. You can't call good evil and evil good. The Bible says, woe to them that call evil good and good is good evil. Okay? You can have churches opening up for what? Opening the doors for Halloween and haunted houses. I was looking online and seeing a few of these things, and you know what? I couldn't believe this. How now the churches are open for haunted houses, saying, well, at least they're in a safe place to be trusted. When a lot of the molesters and all the evil people that operate go to church to get their conscience clear from the wickedness they continually do. Okay, these no repentant houses, harlot houses, promoting this evil Babylonian practice. So it's beyond Rome. It's Babylonian. But I'm showing you how the Roman Catholics who took over everything, Rome is Edom, the Edomites, they have systematically merged these evil practices within our society. Now, the slaves, we just follow anything. It's just about fun and having a good time and all that. But guess what, brothers and sisters? Life is short. Okay, life is short. We will have to give an account of our actions on earth. And we're losing our children. We're going to lose our children. You're giving them over to a God by celebrating these days. And you know what? A lot of us are giving ourselves over during this same time, participating in the political systems, the same systems that have destroyed us. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
It says the theme of this week is memory of the dead.
Memory of the dead.
Communication with the underworld.
Hold up. Communication with the underworld. That's communicating with hell. Okay, hell is real. Read.
And purification for the future.
And purification for the future. And what they do, it opens up. These gods begin to deal with these politicians and deal with these so-called religious leaders who are nothing different than mediums between hell. And this guy in the middle will do what? Give information to these agents on what the demons told him to relay. For what? Further future prosperity in Satan's world. Right? Now, each day leading up to the election, what day is the election?
I think it's usually the 7th or the 8th.
Let me get it right here. I'm going to show y'all something. Right? We're going to show you. One moment. Let me get this here. We're going to show you the Satanic events from one day to the next leading to the president of so-called United States, right? Let's go to each day, right? You got November 1st?
We did November 1st.
What's November 2nd?
November 2nd, All Souls. All Souls Day commemorates departed spirits not elevated to sainthood. Before becoming a church festival in 998 CE, it was marked with celebrations from the festival of Woden or Odin as God of the dead.
God of the dead on the 2nd, right? These are all Roman, before that, Babylonian worships. So they got all this evil activity leading up to what? The presidency. So believe it or not, brothers and sisters, this is an initiate where demons operate and go into that particular person all the way up until they are inaugurated in January. You notice it's all during that same time of the season and all that. This is so that person can become a host for a demon while they're being utilized as a pawn before the population. And listen, open your eyes. Think about this word. Listen to this clearly. Do you notice how fast a lot of these so-called presidents age? Okay? Inordinately. They'll look normal at first, and then a few days later, they look like they just crawled from off a mountain somewhere. You understand? In the cold, with gray hair and all that. They just like, hold up, this guy just had black hair. Mm-hmm. These people are being used by demons, brothers and sisters. They're not themselves once they go through this initiate. It's actually an initiation into high demon possession. The same way there's levels in masonry and degrees. Well, when you get to that degree, you no longer exist. You're being utilized by a demon. So they do it during a heightened time in which hell is open in releasing demons into the earth. Strategically, they do this every election year. This is how it works. Okay, let's go to the next day.
It says here, November 3rd.
November 3rd, come on.
Malachi. The medieval Irish prophet Saint Malachi, the Irish Nostradamus, is commemorated today. In Celtic tradition, this is the day of starting new enterprises and the day the cattle are taken from the hills to the lowlands for wintertime.
Come on.
November 4th is blank. November 5th, Guy Fawkes Night.
Guy Fawkes Night. November 5th.
Guy Fawkes Night, celebrated by burning an effigy of a would-be regicide, continues the earlier traditions of burning effigies of the evil spirits of the past old year. By cremating them along without horns, or it says, by cremating them along with outworn hurts and grievances, the new year may be faced in a purer way, free of unnecessary and unhelpful physic leftovers. Verse 6.
Burning fire to Satan and cremation. Another thing, brothers and sisters, it's dishonorable to cremate. Okay, that was another sacrifice to the gods under Rome. We're from the dust. Our father was made out of the dust. And to the dust we go. It doesn't take much for a hole to be dug up and a body placed in it, and the earth receives her child back to the dust. That's the way it should be. Okay? I don't care what type of funeral arrangements people are talking about, where they say, well, hold up. It costs this much and that much and that much. How much does it cost for a shovel? The same materials that go into the ground will be materialized for the new bodies, and they know this. Burning our bodies is a sacrifice to the god of fire, Satan. Cremation is evil. The Romans did it so that they can walk along the underworld with their fathers. That's what they called it. It was initiation where they would be there, trapped in the underworld with their fathers. Okay? I want to put that out there. So November 5th is a cremation day. Okay? to Satan in ancient Rome. I don't care what they tell you. I'm going to show you all the days in ancient Rome that runs up to your presidency. Why am I saying this? It's all Roman. I mentioned earlier that America was never a day established under the Most High God. You can see George Washington next to the Baphomet wearing what? A Roman toga. It was always Roman. So what's going on? While you are dealing in our modern time, thinking that things are just normal and this is just something to do, all right, it's just a social thing to do with your family and all that. These evil people are worshiping these Roman days as if they were in ancient Rome. Okay? Right, listen, right on point to how it was done back then. They dress up in Roman togas. They do all that evil behind closed doors. They worship. They bathe in blood. You name it, they do it. Okay? Come on, what's the next day? Come on.
Jumping over to November 8th.
Let's go to November 8th. What'd that say?
It's called Mania.
Mania. Now listen, November 8th is actually a pagan day. So don't tell me that our political system is not a religious system. They're pagans. Everything they do is pagan. Paganism is a religion. So the whole construct is pagan. Right? November 8th. What is this day according to ancient Rome?
It says the Roman festival of Mania commemorates the manes, spirits of the underworld. Spirits of the underworld. A day when the lower worlds are accessible.
A day in which the lower worlds are accessible. November the 8th is a day that the priest can communicate and access hell. Hence, you got both with Hellraiser in the middle. See? They need a medium to communicate with hell. Okay? This is ancient Roman. They understand certain days are heightened days in which when the earth shifts, certain things open between the earth and the underworld. Okay? Come on.
In Celtic tradition, Gwyn Ad Nud, light, son of darkness, lord of the fairy kingdom, permits the door to be open for a day.
The door is only open for one day, November 8th. You think they didn't know this? So they got you looking at, whoa, what's going on with Hillary's email? Trump said something 10 years ago. He's a misogynist. He's this, he's that. These are distractions, brothers and sisters, so that you can be engaged in conversation and choose one side of the devil or the other side of the devil. And it all culminates during the same heightened time, the most evil time of the year. Samhain, the worships of the dead. Boy, all the religious Satanists are salivating. This is their favorite time of the year, to get children, sacrifice and kill children in fire. And to have the whole earth being pied pipe into who's going to be elected into the Babylonian satanic chair, controlled by the synagogues of Satan. Right? So if we're going to come out of we really have to understand what system we were enslaved in and separate ourselves on every level. Come on, read that last part again, Elder Lawyer.
It says, in Celtic tradition, light, son of darkness, lord of the fairy kingdom, permits the door to be open for a day. His abode is Glastonbury Tor, one of the ancient holy mountains of Britain, an entrance to the lower world.
And an entrance to the lower world in Great Britain. So we know the Queen of England and all of them, they strategically place their buildings on areas that's connected directly to the underworld or hell. Okay? That's the world we're really living in, okay? So who's going to celebrate Halloween? Okay. Who's going to deal with this Halloween system and the political system leading up to a demon, okay, going into a host named president? Who's going to participate? Well, we're not God's people. We're not dealing with Sunday worship. We're not dealing with none of this evil, none of your wickedness, none of your Babylonian traditions. Let's get a few scriptures here. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. Come on.
First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20.
And it makes me sick. I'm looking at Hillary. Every other second, they got a commercial of this woman hugging a black child. Like she care about it. She don't even care about her people. This witch is behind how many dead black children? And, you know, I can't even speak about Donald Trump. He's just a joke. You understand? But the majority of the things he say, because he's dealing with jokes, the things he says violent are totally, they become defamed or not credible, because he do speak a lot of truth, but it's two sides of the same demonic coin. He says a lot of truth, but because he's so outlandish with his wickedness, you understand, which is on purpose, it's all theater. It makes it where, well, I'm not really voting for Hillary. I'm just not voting for the other crazy guy. Well, that was the point all along, to have you participate and to believe that it's anything outside of what God said it is, evil. Their political system is a religious system, because why? Most of you believe in the system more than you do the Bible itself. You believe you can vote someone in that can change your life and can change the future in your of your prosperity or your path. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Let's get it. Let's get 1 Corinthians 10 and 20.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20.
Come on.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice,
the things that the Gentiles sacrifice,
they sacrifice to devils.
They sacrifice to devils. So what does this mean? The Gentiles, everything they do, their religious setups and all that, their social gatherings, everything they do is to devils. Okay? They only do it when it relates to some connection with demons and evil and wickedness. Read.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
They sacrifice to devils, demons, go on.
And not to the Most High.
And not to God, come on.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
You can't say you down with the Most High and sit at the table with demons or devils. You can't do so. You have to make a choice. And I know some of our parents are going to deal with the peer pressure that comes with their children, saying, it's just some candy. Well, listen, I'll buy you some candy right now. Okay? You want some candy? Make sure you brush your teeth and make sure you get it together where we ain't dealing with no dentists and all that. But listen, you want some, look, go downstairs in the shed. There's all the candy you want. You ain't going out there worshiping Satan, I can tell you that. And during this time is the time in which they look to kidnap children and all that. And some of these children are going to be in the midst of a pentagram on fire with some demented Jewish cat drinking their blood next to them as their soul leaves. Before they put the dagger in them and their soul just leaves all together. That's how they do this. They love hurting children, brothers and sisters. And I hate to be so descriptive, but someone have to wake people up. Someone have to just say, listen, this is what you're really participating in. Okay? If they can get the whole world to participate or a large number, that actually maximize their opportunity to abuse or sacrifice a child. The more children participating in it. Okay? Come on.
Verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
You can't say you're down with Christ and his cup, and you're drinking the cup of the devil. Okay, the blood of children, the sacrifice of children. Read.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
So what's going on with the Christians out there who promote the Western and pagan way? What God who are you serving? You're not doing this for the children. You're not doing this for the children. If you love your child, you would keep them as far away from these practices as possible. And one thing I've learned, when you teach a child right, they'll fight on the side of right against all of evil. So there's no peer pressure that's making them feel like I want to do this too. When you teach them right, they will fight on the side of right. Okay? They'll only miss something that they're used to or become accustomed to practicing. Mm-hmm. See? But our people love to have it so. Let's go to Isaiah 28 and 14 real quick. Okay, paganism wasn't made for Israelites. Okay, we're not pagans, we're God's people. Paganism is Gentile worshiping of gods. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Isaiah 28 and 14. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
And this is speaking of politicians that are supposed to be our people. People who are in high position, who are supposed to promote what's right amongst the people. Guide the sheep who don't know any better. Like your politicians who are Masons. They know what this is. They know what Halloween is. They know what all. I've never seen any of these so-called leaders out there, Farrakhan and any of them, come straight out and say, well, this is what's being worshipped when your child deal with Halloween. Here's the origin of this. The only thing they can talk about is black and white. To feed the narrative controlled by Zionists. They can't even go in, because why? They would actually implicate themselves in it if they were to go into the origin of what these people, what's really going on amongst our people. Why we can't come from under captivity, why we being held down. Okay? I'm not going to blame the white man for why I'm being held down. That's utterly ridiculous. The Most High cursed us. If it wasn't for the Most High, the white man could not have done anything to us. But they would like to keep the narrative on that low level. Black and white, black and white. No, show me. Come out and give us the origin of all these holy days and Halloween and what's really behind them and how the politicians, even the Shriners, okay, the Shriners of Prince Hall and all that, which is masonry. Even they are doing things on these same pagan and evil days and sacrificing and all that. That's why he can't talk about it, because he is participating in it also, being a Shriner of Prince Hall. So the Bible spoke against the prophets and leaders who didn't warn our people and tell them the path we were going into or fall into. The path we were going down, right? Read.
Verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
Because you have said, we have made a covenant with death. Read.
And with hell are we at agreement.
And we are in agreement with hell. So instead of teaching our children, well, don't do these things because it's evil, it's a day where hell enters our realm. We'll say, well, no, you can go out with the rest of the children because it's just a day of tradition to have fun. That's us making an agreement with hell, like Gentiles do. Read.
We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us.
And then you think when the destruction come, that it will pass you? How will we separate and come out of Babylon when our hearts are still in it, following everything, the ways of the Gentiles, still have our children practicing demonology and devil worship? You believe the Most High is going to pass you in judgment? No. This is what it's talking about. Being full aware, high time to awake out of sleep and then separate ourselves knowing what's coming in preparation for what's about to happen. Right? Go on.
For we have made lies our refuge.
We have made lies our refuge.
And under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
And under falsehood have we hid ourselves. See? And when someone reveals the truth or shine the light and say, well, this is what Christ requires, or Yeshua, the Savior, requires, or some who call him with, in ignorance, Yehoshua or Jesus. Okay. So when we go and say, well, this is what Christ requires according to the Bible, that we do the will of the Father. And the will of the Father is that we keep his commandments. When you teach this to our people, they become your enemy. They attack you. They come against you. Why? Because they want to hide within their evil, because their heart is in Babylon. It's with Babylon. Their heart is merged with their own captivity and destruction. See? What verse are you at there?
Going into verse 16.
Come on.
Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone.
That's Christ.
A sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hall shall sweep away the refuge of lies.
See that? So Christ, Yeshua, was prophesied to come and sweep away the refuge of lies. Now you see why they wanted Christ dead? Mm-hmm. He's shining the light on the world, separating himself from this evil and saying, choose me. They've been using me, okay, as a refuge to do evil. They've been using my name, but it's not of me. See? So Christ shines a light on the evil. See, the Romans were able to bring their new world religion and evil throughout the world by covering it using Christ's name, using our name as a people. They were able to cover their true agenda to get the one world under their Lord, their God, Satan. But it's a shame because our people, for their own posterity or whatever the case, will actually agree with this system. I see black people and other people out there, Spanish people, supporting politicians. Mm-hmm. Okay? For a little scratch. You don't care about those people, neither do they care about you. So these were the leaders Christ and the Most High were prophesying against. And he's calling them to the carpet, saying, you're not going to get away, because the majority of these politicians who are black, they know. They know what Halloween is. They know what the political system is. But yet, year after year, they're paid to come out and Pied Piper our people into the satanic system instead of setting us free, letting us free. See? A few more. Let's get Deuteronomy. Let's get Exodus 23 through 5, going into the law now. Now, I was going to go into some of the lesson today, which is the rise of the mark of the beast, but I'll just go into that next Sabbath. 11 a.m. next Sabbath, I'll be going into the rise of the mark of the beast, showing you how this system, right after this week, they're going to put in whatever they need to put in place to bring forth the beast system. I'll go into that next week. 11 a.m. Sabbath. For those who don't know how to get there, you go to Ustream, type in Gathering of Christ, all together. You'll see us right there. And I'm going to be there 11 a.m. sharp next Sabbath, going into a lesson called The Rise of the Mark of the Beast. Showing you, beyond any shadow of a doubt, it's not one man you should be looking for. Okay, the beast system was in place. It was in place when we were in captivity, brothers and sisters. So a man you're looking for, that will never happen. The beast system is here. All right, so let's go. Come on.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
We are Israelites. For those who don't know what an Israelite is, it's not a religion. Okay, it's not what the Zionists and the Jesuits and others out there would like to promote as a quote-unquote cult. Christ was an Israelite. Isaiah was an Israelite. Okay, Jacob's name in the Bible is Israel. His children's names were Israelites. We are his children. It has nothing to do with a belief. Okay, what you believe have nothing to do with your bloodline. There's many people out there, like our people, that are following Islam in our communities and all that. Their religion is Islam. Their ethnicity are Israelites. Okay, through bloodline. So being an Israelite is not a religion. Break that from your thinking. Totally burn that idea that being an Israelite is something evil or wrong or cultish. That's what this system, that's what the Zionists would like you to believe. Why? Because they are holding our name and our titles under the title Israeli. And no one is looking at them as cults or evil or wicked, calling themselves Israelis. Okay? That's what an Israelite is, right? Now, being an Israelite, when we left Egypt, the Most High gave Israelites laws, right? And one law is, we as Israelites cannot have no other God before the God of all gods. Proving to you that there's many gods within this earth being worshipped, chiefly Satan, right? So that's why we can't operate, follow the pagan ways, excuse me. It's against our law. It's against our law to celebrate Christmas or worship on Sunday because our God didn't give us that. Christ didn't give us Sunday worship. It's against our law to have our children operate on Halloween, celebrating Christmas, celebrating Easter, celebrating Thanksgiving. It's against our God. See? Read.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Come on.
Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Come on.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So when you go against this commandment, it brings and leaves a generational curse. See? So if you follow the other gods, what happens? Your children will follow those gods. Their children will follow those gods. And then it will become, as time go on, the true God is forgotten. See? So let's break the generational curse. Let's come back to the original God and shun all politics, the whole Babylonian world, and let's shun all holy days out of our existence. We're coming out of Babylon all the way. We're not in agreement with it. We don't like it. We could care less for it. It has nothing to do with us. If someone else want to do it, hey, that's fine with you. You can do it, but don't share it with me or my children. Okay? Let's go to Leviticus 23 and 2. If there's holy days that you need to follow, then why don't you follow the days in the Bible? Mm-hmm. When the Bible says, let no man judge you in respect of a holy day, I wish somebody would pull that out for Halloween. Okay, you think God and Christ wanted you to do Halloween? So that the scripture says, let no man judge you in regard of a holy day, wasn't speaking about holy days. It was speaking about us doing holy days under Christ opposed to doing it under Moses. That's what Paul was talking about. He never said, well, I'm not going to judge you because you're worshiping Satan and sacrificing children on Halloween. A matter of fact, the pagans who were converted had to stop worshiping the Roman days during the time of Paul. Okay? And they were coming to the Passover. They were coming to the holy days. Read Leviticus 23, 1 and 2.
Leviticus 23, 1 through 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Yes.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord.
Concerning the feast of the Lord.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts.
Even these are my feasts. So the God that said that we can't have no other God before him, you can't follow these pagan gods, gave us feasts. Mm-hmm. Satan had feasts and traditions. Our God in the Bible have feasts and traditions given to his people. See? So whose side are you on? Make a choice. And I'm speaking to all these so-called Christians who claim you're down with the Bible and totally ignoring Christ's feast, the Most High's feast. You'll celebrate Easter, not even in respect of Christ. Christ was given up on Passover. You don't even acknowledge Passover, and you go straight to the goddess of star and worship Easter and try to cover that satanic worship with claiming Christ rose from the grave on Easter Sunday. It's wicked and evil. If you're going to remember Christ, wouldn't you remember the day he was sacrificed on? Passover? Who told you to forget that? Pagans, evildoers, Satan worshipers, child sacrificers. Right? Leviticus 20, 1 through 6.
Leviticus 20 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel.
So this is Gentiles who may come under and learn with Israelites, right? If you are a stranger, you are invited also to break your pagan ties and follow the true God. Read it.
Whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers,
Gentiles,
that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Moloch, he shall surely be put to death.
So if you give your seed to Moloch, you will surely be put to death. That's sacrificing your children to Satan. The judgment for that is death because the children are innocent. You're supposed to raise up a child the way they would go. And when they are of age, they will not depart from it. If you compromise your soul to sacrifice your children to this system, there's a price. And that's speaking of this law is not just for Israel because Israel is the light to teach the law to the earth. Gentiles, you are responsible also for your children and for your actions. You're not going to make it into the next kingdom to come, continuing your pagan and evil ways and worship and operate in the same mindset and patriotism America was built on. You must separate yourself or die with this place. That's the Bible. Right? There's no in-betweens. There's no compromise when it comes to the word of the Most High. If you want compromising, stay in church. Right? Sacrificing to Moloch, right? Where you at? Leviticus?
Yes, sir. 20 and 2.
Keep on down to the 6th verse, right?
This is the rest of verse 2.
Yeah.
The people of the land shall stone him with stones. Verse 3. And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Moloch, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from that man, when he giveth his seed unto Moloch, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a-whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Moloch from among their people.
Moloch is the god of all religions. Okay? Moloch is Satan worship. To give your child over to pagan ways is worshiping Moloch and sacrificing your children to the god of this world. That's what it's talking about. So I know they make it trendy and they make it fun to celebrate and worship Satan. That's the whole point about it. Okay? That's the caveat. They put it out there to draw you in. But once you in, what? People are losing their soul. Their backs are turned from the God of all gods. They're losing their soul. So initially it seems like it's some, it's innocent or fun. But no. There's an overall agenda that leads to much evil and wickedness. Okay? Read on.
Verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits.
Familiar spirits is what? Being a medium with the dead. Like your guy here in the middle, who's a satanic communicator, a Jesuit with the dead. Right?
And after wizards.
And this guy in the middle is a wizard, and the one to your right is a witch. Okay? The one to your right is a witch. All right? Read it.
I don't think it's any coincidence either that, you have people dressing their children up as wizards, dead people, dead spirits.
I mean, look at this here. Who in their right mind going to say, well, this is something that, this is what I want to do? Look at this. Blood coming down, walking around with skulls, and that's an agreement with death. Who want to be, listen. Who said, you know what, I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be on. Laying that thing out on the bed, getting it ready. Here it is. It's tore up, ragged up, blood leaking off of it. Yeah, let me throw this on. Are you kidding me? And you have the mothers participating in this hot mess, sitting there making it up for their child. Be still. Come on, be still. Put the wig on. And the child walking down the street looking like, an episode from The Walking Dead. Talking about trick or treat. Having an agreement with Moloch, Satan. And then they usher this in and eventually have the whole earth that week participate in a satanic ritual, voting in a so-called president, which is really a religious initiation. When hell is wide open and the dead is operating and walking and operating with men, with people. Right? Few more. Let's get Leviticus 19 and 28. And let's get suffer a witch to live. Let's get that too.
Leviticus 19 and 28.
Read.
You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead.
When it says cutting in your flesh for the dead, it's just that. Okay. When people be making marks on themselves and all that to commemorate or a celebration of death, that's a satanic ritual. Read.
Nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord.
That's tattoos. Okay, that's tattoos because what? That's a communication to the unseen, not just those that see, but the demons who you can't see. It's in communication. That's how a lot of the old people that did tattoos and all that would communicate with the evil or the underworld so that they'll know who's in agreement with them. Okay? This is how they communicated, through the tattoos. And when it says that you cannot round the corners of your head, that was talking about ritualistic cuttings of the hair for gods. That's what it's talking about, a haircut. Okay? This all Molochian worship. Okay? I got it here. Let's get it. Let's get Exodus 22 and 18 and Deuteronomy 18 and 19.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 18.
Yes.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
The Bible says, according to our culture, when we were in Israel, that a witch was not to live amongst the Israelites community at all. Okay? These are mediums. These are sorcerers. These are wicked people. It so happened that witches are running the whole system now, to a point in which the top witch now is now being paid off or actually getting her recognition for her hard labor under Satan, her perpetual sacrifice, given herself from an early age to Satan. She finally is looking to get her due. After killing so many children, black babies all around the earth, she finally is getting the recognition due, right? You should not suffer a witch to live, right? Get the other one, right?
Deuteronomy 18 and 10 through 11.
Come on.
There shall not be found any among you that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times.
Or an observer of times, which is actually given future, what they call astrology and all that, future fortune telling and all that, and palm reading and all that garbage, right? We're not supposed to do it or teach this as a option to our children. Read.
Or an enchanter or a witch.
Or an enchanter or a witch.
Or a charmer or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard or a necromancer.
Or a necromancer. Do you notice that this time of year, Hollywood promotes doorways to hell? Ouija board and exorcists and on and on and on. They'll promote all of these evil things so that they can get the whole world in participation with this time of year. But the Bible told us, it warned us, that we were not to participate. So this is no disrespect to anyone else. We're not participating. We're coming out of Babylon. We're teaching our children in preparation for the world to come, our world. And there's no better time than the present to teach truth in preparation for the kingdom to come and our Lord and Savior, who will soon be here. Okay? So now, brothers and sisters, if I were you, when you get the opportunity, right? Someone you're close to, people you love, those who are in the church, because I came out of the Christian church, so I don't have nothing against the people in the Christian church. They're some good people. They just don't know that they're being deceived through the political system and the religious systems. And those that went to that church for truth will open their Bible and make the right choice. It's up to you to show it to them. Give them the opportunity you have received to get this truth so that they can spread it. And through that, we'll all come together under the true worships and understanding of the Bible and come out of Babylon properly. Okay, now there's a few other things I wanted to go into, but time won't permit it today. But I'll pick it up next week, 11 a.m., and we'll go into the rise of the beast. Okay, with that, I hope a lot of you can see how it all tied in, how the religious system, the worships of the holidays, and the Babylonian religions this time of year culminates into one worship toward Satan. All right? Don't include yourself or your children. There's a judgment. Break the curse.